This review is presented by EVDANCE.
Now, it's time for the new Nissan Micra. I need to get something just straight out of the way, and I know that everyone are talking about it, and that is just what it is. This is more or less, into its very molecule, a Renault 5. And what do we think about the Renault 5? Well, it's a very charming car. It's got the retro looks and all of that. This has a different approach, even though it's the same car. And I think that it's just a brand thing. Either you like a Nissan or you like a Renault. And what I think is really cool, that came out of the gate storming with charm. And yeah, they've been selling a lot of these. It's a very good price for it. This has also got a good price. And what I think is cool is that this becomes an alternative in its looks, because I think the makeup of this one looks very different. You can feel that it is about the same car when you behold it and you look a little closer to it. But I just like these rings here. I like the front. I like this blue color, and it just feels like it is a little different car. It's fairly good price to start off with. You can get the 40 kilowatt hour battery, which gives you 316 kilometers in range, for 369,000 Swedish crowns. And it's also very good knowing that the car feels very mature. It's fun to drive, it is quiet, the setup is really well balanced, and it also has a quite sporty attitude to it. Then you can get the 52 kilowatt hour battery. Gives a little more power, of course, 150 horsepower. It gets a range of 416 or 415 kilometers in range. That is good. And I mean, it's more around the town, but I have a car that just has 320 kilometers in range. I think I do pretty well with that one. So you can take this on a bit longer trip. Now, it hasn't got the fastest of charge. You can charge this all the way up to 100 kilowatts. You get along, but you know, maintaining that high level, which is more or less a minimum level nowadays in electric cars when it comes to fast charging, that can be a little difficult. If you live with a plug-in hybrid car or an electric car, well, you need a charger. This is the EVDANCE portable charger. Very sturdy, very easy to use. Just plug it in, 220, 240 volts socket, and off you go. You get 3.68 kilowatts of charging power. But still, it has a heat pump. It's got vehicle to load, and if you just step up the different trim levels, well, you get even more. I think you're just satisfied with the first step or the middle trim. And the three trim lines are Engage, Advanced, and Evolve. And this is the Evolve. You got plenty of stuff in this one. And it's also got bi-color tone to it. So it's black on top, and then it's got the different color down here. So more than 6 million Nissan Micras has been sold worldwide. I mean, that is rather much, and that says a lot about a car. So there is a group of customers that really is looking forward to this one. So I like the rims. They look pretty nice. A bit special. You get these black contrast over the wheel archers, the black mirrors, the roof. Looks just good. But here is the resemblance to the R5. You can't get away from that. But still, it's a really neat looking profile. And I like when you hide the rear handles. I think it works really, really well. And it's a good feel to these ones as well. You know, they're very unpretentious, and I think that's the approach that they want. So good clonk or sound to the doors, and that is also something that gives you a little more of a premium feel, because Nissan wants you to feel that you have a premium car in this small segment. And what they also want to do is that they want to invite people to their fully electric segment. When I look at a car, I want it to talk to me, and I always define a car of the first look that it gives me, and then I let it grow on me. And it's the same here. I think that you can't be too nitpicking and just thinking that, no, it is still just an R5, a Renault. No, because when you look at it here, I think it looks completely different. I like these round shapes, and what I also like is that they haven't done anything with a LED strip or a LED ramp like that. Look at these ones, they look just so nice. says Nissan here, and it feels like it's got a good stance, both from the front and from the back, and that makes it feel rather roomy. It's supposed to be a city car, urban car. You can take it on some longer roads because it has a very mature behavior on the road, quiet and everything, but it is fairly wide. So when you drive in town, I mean, you can compare it to a new rival, the Hyundai Inster. That is fairly narrow, that car. So that zips through a bit easier in tight traffic. This one, it is a little bigger. So how does it look in the trunk? Well, 326 liters. That is just good. It becomes a little of a lip here, so you need to lift down and put down. This might be scraped a little after a while, but still, it's not that bad. And I think that you can lift this one up. Yeah, well, there's a bit more space, so you can put your cables down there. But this is the highest trim line. Then you get that Harman Kardon sound system, and then you get a subwoofer. So for a small car, this is just good enough. So that's the position where I sit in as a driver. I like the roof. Well, when you see the roof, you get a little happy. It feels a little retro. And for me, 74 and a half centimeters, I got some space. When you get taller, or when you are taller than 180 centimeters, it starts to be a bit more cramped. The seats, they're good, very soft, very plush, and I like this leatherette or almost synthetic leather, but I like the blue color to it. I love blue colors, and I just love when it starts to pop a little and doesn't become too dark inside here. Sure, scratchy plastic, so all around, not that many conveniences back here. You got electric windows, that's about it. And your knees are fairly high. I think the main problem is that you can't really shove your feet underneath the seat, the front seat that is. I'm sitting in the lowest position. I heard some complain about that, but I can get my feet put under there, even though it's in its lowest position. So it's not that bad. But if you're taller, then you don't want to sit here for longer. So this is a car that is suited for the smaller family. 2 kids at their younger age and that aren't that tall. You got ISOFIX and all of that, and you got 2 lights here in the back. You can sit 3 here if you want for a shorter ride. Not bad place, not bad place. We step in here and you are greeted with a very charming interior. I like this interior. It is very driver focused. Everything is tilted towards you as a driver. And what I just love is that when you get a good feel of a car, well, that comes from the steering wheel. I always love that. This is charming. It has this classic look of being cut on top, cut a bit here. Maybe not cut, it's pretty wide, but it's pretty flat. And yeah, you just get a good grip. It's fairly thick and it's a bit dotted down here. So it has some sporty feel and look about it. I like that. So a nice steering wheel. You also have these paddles back here for the regen. Let's just fire it up a little. And you can set that in many steps. And it's 1 pedal drive as well. In this one, we have, as I said, the Harman Kardon sound system. Sounds just really, really good. You got this Perso here if you just want to customize your settings for turning off the speed warning indicators or something else. Then you just push that once and it says my safety all on or my safety Perso off. So that is good, quick and easy. The buttons on the steering wheel has a good click and feel to them. This cluster in front of you, really nice displayed graphics and stuff and nice colors to it. You can set different colors everywhere around here, and now the Google Assistant started here because when you say, hey Google, it just works so quick. You can set your navigation, you can do some commands, and it's just a lovely system. Sometimes you just think, why doesn't all cars have this Google system? It works just so good. So quick to turn on the heat in the seats. You can get into the menus here. You can change your drive modes. Comfort, you got Eco, you got Sport, and then you got Personal, so you can set them in different modes. But you also got this little button down here that alters the different drive modes. The only thing is that it is a little slow in this cluster here. As you change the look of it, if you just want the navigation to pop up, it takes a little time, so you might double click and you know, overstep one of the modes here. But very clearly displayed, and I like it. Here in the front, it is also a little plastic everywhere, but I think it is complemented fairly well with this fake leather here. Looks good as well on this side. The seats are nice. I think they're wide enough. They are plush and soft. You sit rather tight in them, and you need that when you start to pick up pace. The thing that this does very well is that it isn't that frantic in its acceleration, but when you pick up speed and around 60 to 100 kilometers an hour, that's where it is rather nippy. And the steering feel is just great. It feels a little sporty. Good inputs to it. You have these 3 stalks here. So when you change it into drive, you change it into reverse, but you can't really set it into park in any way. So you need to turn it off, or maybe just hit the handbrake button there. A little bit of a frustration. And then you got your wipers here. So different type of design on the gear shifter, on the wiper stalk, and this one. That if you come from a Nissan product from before, now you need to share that feeling of having a Renault type of media system button down here. So you just need to get used to that. And in this one, you just change your board computer so you can see what radio station, echo monitor, the distance you've been traveling, how much range you got, and all of this. And you got voice command and maneuver everything here. So pretty much the same. But I like this big screen here. It's quick enough, it's updated, and it is crystal clear in its graphics. Very logic and big symbols here to get into the different menus. So that's basically the same as we've seen before, but I think it's a good contribution to this car. Got some cup holders here. You got a induction charger, some USB-C ports, and yeah, I think that's about it, really. Let's get out on the road. It's something when you start off in this car, and even when you park it, you don't know if it's on, if it's off. Of course, when you park it and you just come to a stop and you want to stop it, then it's more easy. But there's no parking button here. So you just need to turn the car off and then it goes into park. But that is still a little strange because you're so used to just put it into park or push a button, which is park, and you might just want to have the ignition on. Otherwise, well, it doesn't roll off. Now we're in one pedal drive, but otherwise I think it starts to roll off. The parking brake is on. So just small minor things, but we know that from the R5, and this is more or less an R5. The only thing that you need to approach this car with is a different type of attitude, and that attitude is, do I want something that looks a little different, that just sticks out a little different? Because the R5 has taken a lot of people with storm, and that is because it's such a retro product. This one, well, it doesn't become any retro product. They should have built something a bit more own. Just a couple of small things here. You know, there's some buttons on top of this panel here. There's a long panel that stretches all along, and usually I sit fairly low. I want to do that. I want to have the beautiful steering wheel, which is very sporty, very racy again, and this is a bit of a trend nowadays. They want to cut it off a bit flat on the top, flat on the side under. And let's mute it, and you get a very good grip, and it's rather thick, so I like the steering wheel. But as I said, a little lower, and I'm not that tall, it covers a little of the vision, so it's a little put on here, this one. It feels a little bulky, but still, it works. The graphics is really good. When I drove the R5, I really thought it was splendid in its drive. It's soft, it's very direct in its steering. It's rather damped. It's a comfortable car to ride in. The seats are really good. The buttons, they have a distinct click to it, so you find yourself, you know, clicking around with them in a very logical manner. I like that. And everything gets displayed very quick here. The only thing that is a bit of a delay to it is this screen in front of you, this cluster here. because every time you change something, you want to change the look of it. It's like, oh, here comes the one part of it, and then the next. And you might do 2 clicks because you think that you didn't click. And then it jumps over to the next category. A bit of a mess, but as you live with your car, you know that you just need to relax a little. Both me and my colleagues, we are a bit like a bit more on the quicker side. We want something that is pretty immediate, but you get along with it. The steering is really sharp, and that's what I liked about the R5 as well. So that's the same, like that. You can get into sport, it gets a little more heavy, and of course you get a little better response from the throttle. And you quickly change that through the drive mode. These buttons that has become so popular on many cars. The car and the brand that set this trend was actually Ferrari with their Manettino wheel. And then many other cars has gotten this after that. And it works very well to change the drive modes instead of digging into systems. But of course you can have a button here or whatever, but it sits very neatly on the steering wheel. So that is a good thing that has been evolving even more in different cars. You got some regen, and you got 1 pedal drive because it comes to a complete stop. So you have that in how many sets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's 1 pedal drive. Works well. And as we were driving in town, we also felt that this is a city car, but the thing is that it is rather wide. It's good for the passengers in here, wide and nice. We got plenty of space in here, so it feels like a much more grown-up car. And that's always nice in a small car. But another car that has really popped out to almost, fool you a little is the new Hyundai Inster. Very, very narrow in its dimensions, but still, they just make some real good space inside of it. This one is a little on the wider side. It gives it a bigger, a stronger, and a more aggressive stance when you see it from the outside, but it becomes a little wide for big cities and tighter streets, and where you need to go through tight traffic. You can turn off the traction control, but it won't let you turn off the ESC completely, so it will cut in, and I remember it cut in a lot in the R5 as well when I pushed that on some roads back home. But still, when you pick up speed, because it's 150 horsepower in this 52 kilowatt hour battery, that makes for a fairly fast little car, so you feel alive, you feel rather nippy, but you need to pick up speed because it's not that quick off the line. I like that type of approach. Some just want, super instant feel in electric cars, but this is not that frantic that it's just spins off with its front wheels from a standstill. It's gradually, like putting on the power, and I think that's a smooth, nice way somehow. Doesn't set your pants on fire with speed. This one, the top speed is 150 kilometers an hour, but it steadily gets to that speed. So the power is just enough. You can get the weaker version as well, the 40 kilowatt hour battery, and you get around 120 horsepower. That it's a little slower, 9 seconds or something like that. And still, for a little city car, electric car like this, it just does the job. But the thing with this one is that you should go for the bigger battery, and maybe you should go for the middle trim in this one, because you get plenty of stuff in the base trim, but the next trim in this one I think is the best. But this one is also a little more expensive than the R5 at its starting price, and that is not so good, because the other one is that charming that this should need another type of trick up its sleeve to become a little more special and to rectify that price. But it really doesn't, because this is the same car. I think that the customers or the people that wants to buy this car, they are Nissan fans, or they like Japanese cars, and they don't want a French car. I think that's more or less the only argument. Now it feels Japanese, Nissan. It's a bit more quality, we know about that, but in this case it isn't. So I also think that everyone knows that it's the same car, so it might get a little difficult there. And then I need to rewind it back to the thing of the look. I just think it needs to appeal you a bit more of the exterior look to go by this one and to stick out. Because to me, when that car has become that popular as the R5 has become, I would like to stick out a bit and not just get that one. But then I need to decide if I want to splash out around 2,000 euros more for this one. Up to you. What type of brand would you like? Do you want a Renault or do you want a Nissan? And when you're up to speed, it is a little more nippy when you push the throttle. Above 60 kilometers an hour, that's where you get a little more of the kick. So it's a little more fun in that range, between 60 to 100, 110. But a very big plus in my book is comfort. This is comfortable. I like the seats. But another thing that makes a car very comfortable is that it's quiet. We can all agree on that, I think. And this one is fairly quiet. Now it's rather windy, but you don't hear the tire noise that much. It doesn't, like sip into the cabin that much. And yesterday we were driving another brand, the Audi Q3, the 3rd generation. And the thing is that one had a bit louder noise around its cabin from the tires and also from all of the exterior noises. Setting this car back to back, as it almost is, driving this the next day, is a big difference, I must say. So this is impressive in that area of comfort. Very quiet, very sophisticated. I like that. So this feels rather solid, and also you enjoy a lighter car. When you're used to electric cars, doesn't matter what type of electric car they're usually rather heavy. Of course this is heavy for being a small car, but it's light in this class. It's 1,512 kilos for this larger battery. But still, that is fair enough to have some fun in the bends. Cruising like this, it feels like a more mature and a larger car, because it doesn't feel worried or anything. Now we've practically only been driving on the motorways, but it's steady, really steady. And it's a lot of wind, but it still stays very planted. And that is very good in a small car, that it has these two sides to it. Sport. Well, it picks up speed fairly well. And it keeps in line really well as well. Brakes are good. They have this good feedback to them. Feels a little racy. Push them hard, well, everything flies. And the warning indicators goes on, of course. I like the driving feel. It is premium because it feels relaxed when you want it to be relaxed. It's smooth, it's quiet, and it's also very sporty when you want it to be sporty. I like this one because I think that they want to replicate their K12. They've done that very well from the outside, and that is often something that is very important to customers. Because everyone doesn't always reflect on, yeah, it's the same car, sure, bits and pieces are the same, or it's practically just the same. The outside, the exterior, that might just do it for the bigger customer groups. And then you got everything that you need. Now we got the driver assistance activated here. Let's see how that feels. You can set the distance to the other car the cruise control, so it's got this adaptive distance control. And it hasn't been too hysterical in any way, starting to warn. It says keep hands on steering wheel, but there's no bong or any warning sound to it. Now it comes a red display here. Keep your hands on, but you can just hold your hand on it and it does a good job. It's not bad. In many cars you can feel how they like wave a little from side to side. This one is pretty solid, pretty firm. Doesn't feel nervous in any way. So I think that the radar on this one is good. You can also change the display here. The display is crystal clear. So you got your speed and you got your, throttle meter here. You can see your kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers, combined consumption there. So let's just do a little quick acceleration. I think it's about 8 seconds from 0 to 100. And look at this. Gradual start, but then it picks up. Suspension is fine. Now we're on some uneven road here on our way to the coffee stop. And it's a small car, you know, it's a little jittery, but it feels like the suspension absorbs a lot of these small complexions. Does that very fine. It doesn't feel like it hit back and that it rings out that much. So that's really good. You got 6 exterior color options for this one, 2 roof color options, and 14 color combinations in total. So let's go back home. Hey Google, take me to roommate Bruno.
Navigating to roommate Bruno, Rotterdam.
Good. It's very on point and it just clearly hears what you say. That is good. This system should sit in any car. It is among the very best.